Hi, my name is Tony Gardner. I'm the president of iRacing.com. Last week we did a software release. Part of that software release was a new user interface. Most of you have seen it at this point probably. The guys are going to talk in more detail about this project, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of flavor from my perspective. This project we've been working on for 2 years, but we've been thinking about it for 6 or 7 years. I can't tell you all the meetings we've had over the years about talking about user experience, user interface, what people are doing in the sim, what functionality is in the sim, what functionality is out of the sim. And we've never really been able to do all the things that we've wanted to do because of technology limitations, et cetera, et cetera. And so about 2 years ago, we started work from scratch on this whole concept of user interface, user experience, what people are doing on the sim. And this project is a culmination of that. So, we hope you like it. We still have a ways to go. There's still things that are changing on the fly, but that's the good news about this whole project and this whole new platform we'll be on is we will be able to change things on the fly, so we think it's going to be great.
My name is Jay Scullin. I'm a web engineer at iRacing.com, and I handle all the front-end development for our public sites and our member-facing sites. About 2 years ago, we decided to start from scratch, essentially, and see what we could do to make it better. So in this latest build, we streamlined the navigation and also added a set of buttons to the homepage, which allow you to quickly access all the major features of the website. On the back end, under the hood, we reduced the amount of AJAX calls, so the website should run a bit faster than before. This is just the first step. The next step is to get people off the website and into the sim much quicker.
So I'm Randy Cassidy, and I've been with Papyrus originally and with iRacing since it started. And I kind of work on a lot of the back-end infrastructure things, so the race servers, the way that races get scheduled out. The team racing thing is something that really I took the lead on. So the project I'm working on now is one piece of a much larger project where we're looking to basically improve the customer experience and improve the interface to getting into a race and operating the simulation. Part of it is to reduce the load on our infrastructure. So when a race is scheduled, particularly a large race like the Daytona 500, you get a lot of people coming to the website all at the same time, all trying to get into the session. And that can put a lot of load on the various parts of the servers. And this one piece of it is sort of to help you get basically not sitting on the website, but into the simulation and into the car more quickly. So we're going to show you some pieces of it here, where what I'm going to do is still on the website, I'm going to register for a race session. Similar to the way that you might join an open practice, you would eventually on the website be seeing a staging countdown timer. So it might take anywhere from 15 seconds to say 45 seconds. And basically you would either be given a join button right away that would dump you directly into the open practice, or you can click an option that says, look, when it's ready, just put me in the car. Okay, so having joined from the website, it launched the simulation and you can see that I'm now in an open practice session. So just as if you would join an open practice directly, so I can get into the car and I can drive around. You will eventually see a message come up telling you that your race session is ready for you to connect to, and it will give you a countdown timer that tells you when either the race session is going to start, or if the race that you're going to connect to has a qualifying session, the countdown timer will make sure that you get to the session in time to be able to qualify. Okay, so now the servers have seen that our race session has been launched, and there's about 7 minutes left before the race would start. So from here, what I want to do is I can get out of the car, and you'll notice that on the session screen there's a new button that has come up called Race. Now when I click on this button, what's going to happen is it's going to exit me out of the open practice session and connect up to my race along with all of the other people that are going to be in the race session with me. Now if I didn't bother to do anything if I had walked away from the computer. It would automatically disconnect you and connect you up basically towards the end of where that countdown timer would show. I think it's around 30 seconds or so. It'll go ahead and automatically switch you over. So what we've seen here is one step in a larger project that's going to be incorporating more of the website into the simulation, basically to make it an easier and better experience instead of needing to use both the browser and the simulation.
We need to move all of the member site features into the sim itself. You should be able to just launch the program, find a race, and go right into that race, right in the sim.
And the technology that we're going to be using to do that is called Coherent UI.
My name is Jeff Rubin. I'm a software engineer. I'm a recent hire here at iRacing. Previously, I was at Harmonix Music Systems working on music games. Coherent is a piece of middleware that allows us to use web development tools like JavaScript and other things like HTML to build our UI.
Just something that lets us use much more of a web style of interface development actually within the simulation itself.
Our game wasn't really meant to play the game, come back out, and go back in again. It typically was launched and closed every time you went from the website. So just getting it so that we could go into the game and come back out cleanly has been a huge challenge.
Where does that leave the member site? The member site will still exist, but you won't be able to race from the member site. You'll be able to buy content, manage your teams, leagues, chat, but it's really just an overview of what you can do in the sim. So I made a few wireframes, and I've actually started working on the actual UI, and I'd like to show you that. So aesthetically, our product is the sim, and I wanted to make that a part of the UI. So much so, in fact, that the UI kind of takes a back seat to our product. So instead of having just like a static image, when you go to iRacing.com, you'll see a background video of all the things that we offer. So you don't even have to scroll. You can just watch the video and you'll understand what iRacing is. So as you can see, I'm actually logged in right now at iRacing.com. It wouldn't be members.iRacing.com, it would actually be iRacing.com. So when you log in, you'll go to your dashboard page, and you'll see this looks very different from what we currently offer. And the reason is, again, I want the sim to always be visible behind the user interface. Up here, we have a few internal advertisements that you can just sift through. And then down here, it's kind of similar to what we have now, where it's just common tasks. This is all you can do when you log into iRacing.com. You can look at event results, teams, leagues, view your profile, buy cars or buy tracks. And then underneath here, we're going to be tracking your recent activity. You can see all your activity, or you can actually filter it down to event results, team activity, league activity, or even achievements. So here's the cars page that I'm working on, and this is what you would see on iRacing.com, but it's also what you would see if you're logged in. And when you're logged in, you would be actually able to purchase cars, and if you're running the sim, you can choose a car, find a race that the car is currently in, and just join it right there. So this interface, this grid interface, will work for just about every possible thing that we offer. It could be leagues, teams, cars, tracks, series, and this will all just be very familiar to you like right away because it's the same identical interface. So with this interface, we have live search, which is something that's lacking in our current site. And as you can see, it updates the grid based on what you type. It should make navigating our 40-plus cars much easier. You can also filter NASCAR, open wheel, prototype, or sports car, whatever we define, and it'll update the list accordingly. And this will be a pretty dramatic departure from what you might be used to, these little boxes, these little tables with tiny buttons that you have to look for. All you have to do is just click one of these and you're off. There's just a modal window that pops up that will be consistent, throughout the entire website and sim that will allow you to get to where you want to go. So we'll also have a couple different views. In this case, we have a grid view, which is what we're looking at here. But we also have a table view, which same information, it's just displayed differently. And you can see this working similar to, say, the What's Hot widget or even the race guide. There could be another view where it looks just like a TV guide or the race guide as it is now. So you can also sort by different things. I've just defined popularity myself, but we'll eventually be able to sort by how popular a certain piece of content is, and obviously sort by model or manufacturer or release date. So we're hoping to use this component for most of the experience. And we're even thinking of recreating it for viewing at a distance. And what that means is if you're, say, on a TV, this interface probably wouldn't work so well, kind of like it is now. So we're actually making a full screen mode for the sim. So you can actually be sitting at your racing pod and you'll be able to interact with the entire sim experience just by using your racing pod. So before I coded anything, I did a set of wireframes, and what wireframes are, it's a way to demonstrate and test out the way that the interface is going to work before adding any polish or designing anything. So we've made a bunch of wireframes for the new sim, which currently would appear as the member site. So this is what you'll see when you log into the sim. You'll see it's pretty similar to what I showed, but with the addition of these two sidebars here. Now on this sidebar, you'll be able to do everything we offer, and it's just listed out in a nice graphical way. You'll see down here, this is TV mode, and that's what I was talking about earlier, where if you're on a TV, an 8-foot user interface will be just spawned right there. It'll just be created. Settings, accounts, support. And here we have the same kind of idea, quick start icons, but we actually take it a step further. If you click on this gear icon, it'll bring up a modal window, which again appears over the interface with every task you can do in iRacing.com. And you can just switch off the ones that you actually want to use. So the end result will be a bunch of different quick actions that are suited to you. So you can use the sim the way that you intend to. And then on the other side here, you'll see this is similar to, like, say, Facebook, where all of your friends and studied are listed here. The ones that are online would be on top. If they're friends, you'll see this little friend icon. If you're studied, you'll see this little bookmark icon. And then your offline friends will be right below it. So that way, all your friends are always visible. You don't have to click anything to see your friends. And of course, you can toggle it using this icon here. So you'll just see their avatars or their helmets if you click on that. Now, the most popular part of the member site that we found was the What's Hot widget, which is this little box that's in the dashboard that just lists upcoming events that you can join. So we took that and we expanded it out to be the basis of the entire sim. We call it Race Now, and essentially right here are just races that you can join in this tile format. So event type would be open practice, qual, race, the series name, and then a little countdown timer to when the race starts. So again, there's live search. You can just filter the results, and over here we have the view button group again, which will show it as a grid as it is now, or a table. But if you click this icon here, that will bring up the guide view. And the guide view is pretty similar to the race guide. It's just a subset of the races that are showing up. So let's say you filtered the races here. If you click on the guide view, you would only see the races that you filtered, and you can just keep going from there. The other cool thing we're doing is we're grouping it in with community hosted events. So if you click on community events, this will be replaced by just hosted sessions, team sessions, league sessions. So that way all of our race and event information is all combined into one place. So let's say we clicked on cars. Now first of all, because we're now in the sim, you're going to get a 3D car that will just spin around.
Once we have the 3D model rendering inside our member site, you're able to change your paint style. You can modify your car real time and see the changes, as opposed to previously you could only see static images of the car.
And say you want to join a session with that car. You click Drive Now, which will bring you to this modal window, which will appear over this interface. You would have upcoming events that you can register for. But if there aren't any, we'll just list out where the car appears. Series, hosted, even team and league events, just so you can pick a car and then find a race with that car.
In addition to updating our launch page, we're also able to update our UI. Our existing UI is something that's been in great need of replacement for a long time. So with Coherent, we're going to be able to basically rip the entire thing out and replace it with something that's in JavaScript that can take advantage of the expertise that our designers have in-house.
Now, what you're looking at here is obviously the existing interface, but we actually have a lot going on under the hood. So, as you can see, I'm able to port over the style sheet, and what a style sheet is basically the theme, over to the sim. So that will let us actually have a lot more control over how the UI behaves and how we can modify it, because instead of just static, say, Flash or Targas or whatever, this is just CSS and JavaScript. So we can actually do some pretty cool things. Like right now I'm working on having everything draggable. So you can drag the black boxes around, arrange them the way you want to, or you can even just hide what you want. You can just hide certain elements. If you look down here, everything that's in the UI now will be just contained in these little buttons, and whatever you want to use, you just click on it or click all of them, and that stuff will just pop right up. So if you're working with like multiple screens, you can have as many windows open as you want. And this is most useful for the black boxes. You can have all of the black boxes open at once if you desire. We're pretty excited about Coherent because of this. Us web guys can actually take over and update the sim at the same time as the rest of our web properties. So I hope you like the direction we're going with all of our properties. Hopefully the changes that we're making to the sim make a lot more sense now, because it's a much bigger picture that we're working on.